Hey y'all, welcome back. Finally, we're going to reseal the roof on this horse trailer. So all the water damage is taken out. Now it's time to make sure that it won't leak before I repair it. But before I do that, I found this cute little guy in my yard. I'm not sure what kind of snake he is, but I gave him a little boop and he didn't like that, so I ended up throwing him over the fence. And I quickly realized that my tiny little ladder wouldn't work, so I brought out the big A-frame, and I love this ladder. It just makes my life so much easier. Also, I'm trying a different editing style, so y'all tell me if you like it versus just watching me do things really sped up all the time. Alright, so ladder's up. First things first, I'm going to start scraping some of this old sealant off, and this trailer actually didn't have any sealant on it, and so I just had a wire brush and was kind of brushing all of the dust off. I'm going to start with some of these vents right here, basically just scrape the old sealant off, take the screws out, and then the whole thing just pops off. Now this is a plumbing vent, but there's no plumbing vent currently in it because I've taken it all out of the trailer to repair the water damage on the floor. So after I've got that vent off, I'm going to scrape all of the old sealant off, give it a good scrub with a wire brush to get any of that other dust off. And I did end up cleaning this before. I don't know why that's not in here, but I cleaned that surface really good. I have a new roof vent. This is an aluminum roof vent. Really like the metal ones versus the plastic ones. Put some new butyl tape on it, and then I have some self-tapping screws that I just secured the vent to the roof with. Now this is pretty much going to be the same process if you're replacing any of the vents. I ended up replacing all of the vents in this trailer. I just didn't do all of them in this video because I need to repair some of the roof before I add the different vents to it. But same thing for the antenna and then the other vent that's right there as well, and I'll have that probably in day 7 maybe when that comes along if you're interested in how to replace either of those two and add a new gasket for your AC unit as well. So when you're doing that, that's also a great time to replace the gasket on your AC unit if it's more than, I don't know, maybe 5 years old. So you can really do this in several different orders. This is just the order that I chose to do it. I have the sealant right there on the front. As you can see, not very good sealant. They really just kind of popped it on the top. They didn't even seal the edges of the front right here, which is just crazy to me. So I'm just going to get all of that old sealant popped off. Same thing with the vents for the horses in the back. All of that sealant is going to come off. Sometimes they really seal this thing up, but just make sure you get where the screws are and around the base of those vents for the horses. Same thing with the back of the trailer right here. It literally just pops off, which is not a good sign. This trailer has been leaking since the day it came back from the manufacturer. So after I have the bulk of that sealant off, I'm going to go back and scrape it with a wire brush. This is aluminum, so it's fine. It's not going to scratch the metal and rust like steel roofs will. This is really just to get most of that extra sealant and gunk off. And plus, I'm going to be washing it and re-putting sealant on it anyway. Oh yeah, don't forget sunscreen because, you know, I may have gotten a little burnt over here. Alright, so after all of the vents are scraped and all of the old sealant is off, you can go ahead and start washing it. I just use Dawn dish soap for this. I don't use any harsh chemicals because remember, it will leak down the side of the trailer and you don't want to take any paint off of the side of the trailer. So Dawn dish soap works great. Now I will say lots of horse trailers that I've resealed, most of them actually have seams in the middle. So if you have seams in the middle of your trailer, make sure to scrape all of that sealant off too. If you're having a hard time getting the sealant off, I like to use my multi-tool with a scraper blade. As long as you're gentle and not dig into the aluminum, it works just fine. Make sure to get around and inside those the vents in the back where the horses are really good because dirt gets like trapped in the corners of those. So just be mindful of that. I also just want to specify and point out that the best thing to do is get all the sealant off and rinse it off and clean it really well because then your new sealant is going to adhere to the roof a lot better. Now after the roof is rinsed off, I like to go give the side of the trailer a nice rinse because all of that gunk is going to come down on the side of your trailer. You also see I went on the inside just to check and it will leak on the inside. This has actually been leaking for a long time, but it's still leaking, which is to be expected, so expect that. So I like to blow the seams out with an air compressor after it's dried because water will actually get trapped in there. And so just give it a good blow off. And after it's nice and dry and clean, you can put new sealant on it. Now, 2 things to note about this. 1, always use self-leveling sealant. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's a metal roof. Self-leveling sealant is what works. I don't know why anybody uses anything else. So 100% self-leveling sealant for everything. Number 2, if you want to, you can coat your roof in the white roof coating. Make sure it is the metal roof coating. The only advantage to that is heat deflection. There is no water protection to actually coating your entire roof when it comes to an aluminum roof, because the aluminum does a great job of keeping the water out. Now, I personally like using Dicor products. They are tried, true, and tested, and I've never had any issues with them. So take that information with what you will. I've heard a lot of people use a lot of different things, and I'll just tell you that I've scraped a lot of yucky sealants off of a lot of horse trailers. Just make sure that you get the right products and you've done your research. Anyway, if you're doing it yourself, you got this. Comment with any questions.